We are so glad you could join us this morning. We've got a great show for you. It's going to be a wonderful weekend to get out in the garden. And we have a really great topic today.
Yeah, I tell you what we're going to work on today or talk about are small projects that make a big impact. It's not like you have to go out there and redo your whole landscape. Just little things you can do to really pick things up, and Renetta's brought some fantastic ideas. I think everybody knows Renetta, one of our landscape designers. You've been here several times.
I have. Great to be here again. Thanks.
So you've got several little things that we can get to work on right now.
Right now, I certainly do. I want to actually go to our first picture and talk a little bit about the fact that gardening is can be child's play.
Okay, we'll start with that.
Or did you want to go to your...
Actually, why don't we say some announcements first?
Okay, why don't you do some announcements?
All right. Let's let you know what's happening at Merrifield Garden Center this weekend, because we've always got something exciting going on. We'll start with our seminars that are happening today at all three locations. At our Merrifield location, actually at the Merrifield Community Hall, which is right next door to the Merrifield location, Vivian Mitchell, who has been with us, goodness, forever, I think since almost the beginning of the company, is going to be talking about houseplants and bringing tropicals back indoors, because this is the time to take care of that. That's at 10 a.m. at the Community Hall. And don't worry about, I know there's construction going on over at Merrifield. It's been a mess, but we are there for you. We are open, we are accessible, and when everything gets done, it's going to be wonderful. So.
It's getting better.
It's getting better, yeah. At our Fair Oaks location today, Peggy's going to be there. Peg Beer is going to be talking about creating gorgeous combination of bulbs, annuals, and perennials. So it's time to plant bulbs now, and this is a way to combine the annuals and perennials to make a beautiful display throughout the year. And then at our Gainesville location, Chef Lillian is back, and she's going to be talking about salsa and sauces from the garden. So that's going to be a great topic. So I hope you take advantage of that, because it's a lot of fun. And she usually has samples there to partake of, which is fun. So that's what's happening this weekend. Next weekend we'll have 3 more great topics. We've got cooking with fresh herbs. We've got curb appeal. And we've got fall magic with trees and shrubs. And I do want to say on the cooking with fresh herbs, if you can sign up on the website, that just helps Lillian know how much to get for her samples. So don't have to, but so if you decide at the last minute to come, don't worry about it. It's going to be a great seminar. So a couple more announcements. Some hours changes going on. First of all, tomorrow, Sunday, the 30th of September, Merrifield Garden Center is going to be having our company picnic. So we're going to close a little early. We hope you'll forgive us for that. But we're going to close at 4 p.m. all of our stores, so that all of our people can come and enjoy a fun day together. So we need that. We need that fun time together. I know, it's going to be great.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
And then Monday, starting Monday, we're going to revert to our fall hours. Right now we're going to say dark. So probably around 7:15 or so. When it gets really dark, then we're going to be closed. But we'll kind of play that by ear a little bit, but that starts on Monday.
It's kind of hard to go out there and look at the flowers and plants when it's pitch dark out there.
It really, really is.
We've done it with flashlights before. If you want to buy something, we'll go out with a flashlight and find it for you.
But so those hours changes will be taking effect on Monday. And then one more thing going on, which we're very excited about. It's fall. It's pumpkins are in, pansies are in, mums are here. It just looks like the fall season, and so we are celebrating fall starting next weekend. Every weekend in October, we're going to be having our fall garden festival at our Gainesville location only, because we've got a lot of room out there. So there's going to be things like hay rides, pumpkin and face painting, moon bounce and slide. We'll have plant specials. We'll be there, of course, to answer your gardening questions. Just lots and lots of fun. So that will be starting on next weekend on the 6th, so every Saturday and Sunday. And then at the end of the month, we'll have our dog Halloween costume contest, and we're going to have a pumpkin carving contest. So that's going to be on the 27th. But you've got all month to get ready for that.
Exactly. Think about now the dog Halloween contest, of course, the highlight for me. So you got to be thinking now about what costumes you want to get.
Because some of these costumes are going to be hard to top from last year.
Are you judging again this year?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, couldn't happen. I've got to be there.
Okay,
I'm like,
all right.
I call it Chief Justice. This will be like my... Yeah.
So that's all we've got for the announcements. So back over to you, Renetta.
I know. I was so excited about my topic today. I just jumped right in.
That's okay.
I do want to talk about the fact that it's really simple to plant. It's not as difficult as you think. And what I want to do is talk a little bit about a family that I was helping out at the garden center. And here are two little dinosaurs.
Those are so,
and
so cute.
Aren't they cute? And I was helping their parents find some plants, and the older of the dinosaurs looked at me and he said, "Ma'am," he said, "I think we need some flowers for our house."
Aww.
Because it's pretty plain." And so I said to
Wise beyond his years.
That's right. And the mother informed me that all the household projects are passed through him.
Wow.
And so I said, "Well, we're getting you some flowers." And I plucked a hydrangea, and he was carrying it around. And so he's carrying it, and he says to his mom, "Mom, when I get home, I'm going to tape this to the front of the house to make the house look better."
Aww.
And she said, "Well, honey, I think that's a great idea, except that, you know, this is something that lives in the ground. You know, I just don't know how it's going to do." And he said, "Well, all right then, I'll take it home, stuff it in the ground, shove some dirt around it, and water it." So that's
I love this kid.
pretty much how simple it is to plant.
What do you say? He's about 4 years old?
He's about 4 years old, yeah.
Exactly, and he's already got figured out.
That's
Right.
great.
Yeah. So this is a fantastic time to be planting. I keep
It is.
saying this time of year, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about bulbs, trees, shrubs, grasses, annuals, perennials, everything gets planted.
Right.
And though it is simple, we want to give you a couple quick guidelines on proper planting, because the things are, if we just get the simple parts right, then the rest of it's going to be terribly, easy and successful. And that's where we're coming from today. So if you're planting trees and shrubs, this is kind of our basic diagram, and we're asking that you want to dig the hole out wide, maybe 2 to 3 times the diameter of the root ball. Loosen that up. Keep it just slightly elevated, a couple inches above the ground, and then you'll notice we mulch too, but not over top of the stem. So just like the young man was saying, dig a hole and shove it in. Well, it's kind of that simple, but there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. So we just want to make sure that you do give a little room for those roots to expand, and then keep it a little high so they don't suffocate in the dense clay.
But the main thing is it's not as difficult as people make it out to be. It's very simple, and we are here to help you. We're here to teach you, and if you have any questions, we can certainly help you with that.
And not hard to get started either, on a few supplies you need.
Right, we put together a little photo of a little starter kit for you. And this is just as simple. You don't need a shed full of things. You don't need a whole battery of things to get started. It's very simple. You certainly need a shovel. You'll need some soil amendments. Certainly a hose and a watering wand, because we have to really, take care of those plants after we've put them in. A starter fertilizer always helps, and of course your plant. But beyond that, there's really not a whole lot that you need to get going with your garden.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got lots of great information, and later on in the show, David and Renetta will be taking your phone calls. So we'll be right back. Hi everybody, welcome back to Merrifield's Gardening Advisor. We're talking about small jobs for big impact today. So David and Renetta are over at our virtual garden with some great ideas for you.
Thanks, Debbie. Well, Renetta, I know that you spend your time as a landscape designer out there helping people do a lot of times big, comprehensive redos of their landscape. But we're talking about little things you can do to make a big impact today.
Yep. I'm out in people's yards all the time, and there are lots of things you can do that make a big impact but really don't take you much time or effort. And the one thing we want to talk about is, although any time is a good, well, David, when is the best time to plant a tree? Let me ask you that question.
I'll tell you, when you're ready to do it. When I say the plants are ready to go anytime you're,
that's
but it's
true.
when you have the time and energy to do it.
But the really best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. So you could be enjoying it
all
today.
right, trick question.
I know, it was a trick question. Anyway, it is a great time. Fall is the most wonderful time to plant trees and shrubs. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the evergreens that we're starting to
10 years
get
ago, I wasn't in my house.
Well,
So how could I plant the tree?
I'm sorry, David, but it was
Okay,
it was
6 years
great.
ago would have been good for me. Okay, back to what you're saying.
Anyway, so we've got some wonderful evergreens in, and we're getting more and more in the fall. As the plants start to defoliate and color up, we start you know, really beefing up on our evergreens because they're coming in, we're getting lots of them, and that's a great project you can do. Plant one tree. Do you need a little screening? Do you need a specimen evergreen? We've got lots of them coming in right now.
Sure do. And I thought that this one that's you're right behind you is a nice plant to start with. This is the red cedar, or Virginia juniper. Sometimes it goes by a couple names because it's not a true cedar. But they're native plants. They're tough and durable,
They're
well
great
adapted.
wildlife habitat.
Exactly. And I thought this is a nice setting. So I'm going to get out of the way so I don't block the view.
Okay, we'll go to the next slide and talk a little bit about the, we've got some Nellie Stevens holly and also some arborvitae. And they're also, those are great screening plants. The hollies are wonderful for the fall and winter interest. We've got many of them in different varieties, also with lots of, they're full of berries now, ready to go. And it's really nice to think about adding some more evergreen interest. We all love our flowering plants. We love the color that they give us when they change. But then in the winter, it can look a little bit dismal, a little bit gray. So it's always nice to add some more evergreen interest.
Exactly. And let's see what's coming up next.
What's coming up next?
All right, because like I say, you know, these evergreens, they provide the structure and everything. So again, just putting one or two in there, like I said, is a small project, but can add a whole lot to your landscape that's in. Plants we're looking at right here is Cryptomeria, which makes a nice specimen, but can also be used to create that kind of privacy. Again, it's grown for that beautiful texture that it has in the leaf needle. Now they can get quite large. You need to allow a little space, and this is a tree that could easily go to 30, 40 feet feet tall over time. But again, a fantastic evergreen that you might want to add to your landscape.
Right. Well, there's also, again, if your landscape cannot support something this size, there is a variety called Black Dragon, which also has that soft, billowy look. It's really, a Cryptomeria is kind of unique because the needle arrangement is shorter and then it gets longer at the tips of the branches to give that billowy look. And I've rarely met anyone who doesn't like a Cryptomeria, but there are smaller varieties if this is just a little bit too big for you.
I have one in my front yard that's it's been there for about 6 years now. It's only waist high. So again, there's lots of selections that are out there.
Right.
So again, just a little project, look around, add an evergreen out there. And I think we're at a couple more ideas. Now this is a tree that's really been popular.
Yep, green giant arborvitae. And a lot of people kind of get stuck in that Leland cypress mindset for screening. And Leland cypresses are great. They're beautiful trees, nice dark green needles, and will grow maybe, you know, 3 or 4 feet a year once they get established. But the deer will browse on them a little bit. And the tree that I like is the green giant. It looks a lot like a Leland cypress, except that the deer don't eat it and the root growth is really good on it. So the root growth keeps up with the vertical growth, and it's a great all-purpose tree.
Yeah, and one of the things is you can kind of see in the picture, they tend to be sort of narrow and upright.
Yep.
I find a lot of landscapes where people might be limited in space as far as how long they spread, but they can grow as tall as they want. So again, that green giant's a nice plant for that purpose. And then another evergreen that you might want to look at is we want to talk a little bit about spruce trees. Spruce, this is obviously taken in the winter time. We bring them a lot of times in for live Christmas trees, so we thought this would be something to think about, because as you start going in this time of year, we'll bring a big inventory in. We've got Serbian spruce, Norway spruce, blue spruce. Again, it's another tough, durable evergreen that could be a nice specimen or use as a screening in your landscape.
I also wanted to mention that with these spruces, when we're getting in toward the holidays and we bring a lot of them in, we do get a lot smaller sizes. So if you're not really feeling up to putting in a big giant tree, you can certainly go ahead with a smaller spruce. A little bit easier project for you.
So again, just go out there, plant a tree. You know, it's a nice time to look at evergreens as well as deciduous plants. But I thought this was a nice collection, just showing how evergreens work together. And again, right in the center here, that's a little compact form of a spruce, the blue spruce.
Yeah, you know, I used to not really love conifers. I don't know. I thought they were a little bit boring. I don't know. Again, like everybody else, I want the flowers, I want the color. But I'm not missing any color in this picture. You take a look at this wonderful variety of texture, color, shapes, and sizes. And in a lot of cases, I'm kind of guiding some of my customers to more of a conifer garden. You've got this look year-round, and you can certainly add things like some annuals or some other flowering plants to add a little bit of pop of color during the season. But all in all, this is a great year-round landscape and very, very low maintenance.
Absolutely. Now, the thing is, anytime you're planting, it doesn't matter whether you're planting the spring, the summer, the fall, and the winter, new plants need to have water.
Yep.
We touched a little bit about how simple it is as far as the planting instructions go, but I always emphasize, yes, this is a fantastic time of year to be planting because the temperatures are cooler, the weather's nice, that puts a little less stress on the trees, a little bit less on you, a little more rainfall.
Yep.
Right. But with a new tree, all the roots are confined to that root ball which you purchased it with. So even if you have rainfall and you have snow, you still have to be aware that you cannot allow that root ball to dry out.
Right.
So we want to emphasize when you finish planting, we want to water directly on the root ball like we're showing here. We're big believers and promoters of hand watering, not relying on rainfall, not relying on irrigation. Those things help, but you need to water directly on that root ball. So we love taking the water wand and the hose out there, but sometimes if it's in a location where that's not convenient, we want to show you this gator bag, which is another way that you can do a good slow watering directly on the root ball.
Gotcha. Yeah, these gator bags this variety is nice for an evergreen. It's kind of like a flat donut.
Yeah,
and you come in
like a donut.
Like a donut.
This.
And you fill it up, put it around the base of an evergreen, and it will slowly release the water down around the root ball. And it's a good help if you're going on vacation or you're just not able to do the hand watering, although that is preferable, as you said.
Right, so this will hold 15 gallons of water, and then it's got a couple little emitters on the back side that just allow it to slowly drip out right in that root ball. So again, you won't have to water as frequently, but you still need to keep an eye on water even with your fall planting.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've also got some great tips for small projects that will make big impact.
Ah, the fall feel, the leaves, the pumpkins.
I know.
It's great. I love this time of year.
It's my favorite.
Love it, love it, love it.
It is, and after this hot summer, it's nice to have some cool weather.
These cooler temperatures are really, really nice. So we're talking about small projects that make big impacts in your garden. So what else do we have to share today?
Well, what we have to share today is, you know, some little tips you can do, things that don't take a long time, or small projects that can make a nice difference. You know, I wanted to talk about the first picture that we have. I wanted to talk about the fact that I'm out all the time with people in their yards, and one of the questions I get all the time is, all right, if this were you, what would you do to spruce this up if this were your yard? And the first thing I say before we start even talking about adding plants or trees or anything is clean everything up. Fall is a great time to do, you know, you've got your spring house cleaning. In the fall, you have your fall yard cleaning. And it's really great just to get out there, prune a little bit, weed, mulch, get a fresh edge on your bed, and it will make all the difference in the world. Even before you add anything, it's just really nice to get everything cleaned up and pristine. It makes you feel really good.
Yeah, and that's what I thought in that landscape, what really stood out to me. Granted, it's a new landscape and everything looks really great, nice design. But again, you can really see those nice flowing lines, just keeping the beds nice and sharp, the edges on there.
You know, half the time after you do that, you know, you realize that, you know, I can add a few little things here and there, but I don't need the biggest overhaul in the world like I thought I did. So a little cleanup goes a long way.
Now, I like to emphasize at the same time that you're doing your cleanup and getting the weeds out of there and putting mulch down, this is a good time also to prevent new weeds from showing up. So again, I've got a couple pictures here. This is chickweed. Now this picture is probably taken in March or April, so you're not going to see these weeds in your lawn today. This is a winter annual weed, and what's happening, these weeds are, the seed is germinating now, and then they explode into bloom next spring, and you're wondering where they came from. This next one we're looking at, the hairy bittercress, this was driving people crazy last year with our mild winter and the weather conditions. This stuff just went bonkers on us last spring. But what I'm trying to emphasize is that you can apply either preen or amaze to your garden now as preventers for these weeds next spring. So at the same time that you're doing this cleanup and edging, mulching your beds, I think it's good to put these products down to prevent these kind of problems showing up next spring. They both do the same thing. I would say Amaze works a little bit longer than Preen does, but Preen has got the easy, convenient packaging.
Right, it's
So
very nice.
either one of those will do a good job for you. And then you would do a follow-up application next spring to try to stop the summer weeds.
Great.
Now, at the same time you're out there edging, mulching, doing your cleanup and everything, it's also a good time to be repairing any little bare spots or patches that are showing up in your lawn. As you said, this is the time to be planting everything, and that includes grass seed. So what I wanted to emphasize is that we want to go out there and patch up the bare spots and everything. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves with the pictures there.
Actually, we're going to show you a couple of products over here.
Because the thing is, a lot of people, they're using these patch kits out there where they've got the wood, the little paper fiber mulch, the fertilizer, the grass seed, and everything mixed in together. But I found all those have really crummy grass seed varieties in it. So what I prefer to do is using one of our seed blends. I brought in the Tough Play because that Tough Play is the one that most people will use. It grows in full sun, part shade, but you can go out and you can just scratch up the little bare spots there in your lawn, throw a little grass seed on it, and then that grass seed accelerator is both a mulch, a fertilizer, and moisture absorbing polymer combination. So this way you get the convenience of those little patch kits, but you'll get a good quality seed mix in there.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
So other little projects.
Yep. We can go back to the picture of the fountain. One of the things that I like to say is, you know, if you've got an issue, something that bothers you, go ahead and take the time to fix it. It doesn't take a long time. This project that I did was it was a waterfall and a pond that we had done for this customer years and years ago, and they had gone many years loving it, but it finally got to the point where they were getting to the point in their lives that they wanted less maintenance. So we took it and we changed it into a disappearing fountain. We put a little basin on there and we put a pebble pot, and now it's a wonderful closed system for them. And here's another cute little water feature that one of our designers did. A lot of people love water features, but they think, oh no, lots of maintenance. Well, this designer, one of our wonderful designers, Sharon Ross, calls it the smallest fountain or the smallest water feature in the world. All it is a little pot with some rocks in it and a small little basin, very easy to maintain, and gives you that sound of the water that we all love. So you can do a little project like that, or even in the next picture, just again, looking at a little garden and adding a focal point. You see the nice blue ceramic bird bath, something like that that makes a little area of your garden pop, give you reason to look at that area.
I really like the color introduction in there, you know, rather than just a tan or beige bird bath.
Yeah, you can't be, you know, red or blue or something. The natural's great, but you know, for me, I like a little pop of color here and there just for some excitement.
Yep.
Now, the next picture, I think, is a really clever way to do a big impact with a little project.
Absolutely. And again, this is our wonderful designer, Sharon. She had gone out to this customer's house, and the customer was really dismayed in that they had had this beautiful, beautiful blue globe spruce and cultivated it over the years. It was big, but the snow came and kind of bombed the middle out of it. So the middle was dead, and you know, most people would come in and go, tear it out, put in a new spruce, whatever, cut your losses, don't worry. But Sharon, very, very clever, decided she cleaned up the inside, got, you know, the old dead stuff out, and used a gold mop cypress and planted it in between the dead branches stuck down in there in the middle. So here you've got a blue spruce with a gold mop cypress, and since this picture it's grown, and the customer says that people knock on her door and say, what is that plant?
That's
I
a
want
great
one of those.
idea.
So using a little ingenuity will really, you know, save your plant and add a feature to your landscape.
That's super. I think we have one more picture in this.
One more, yes. And in this picture, the point is this is a great time for planting spring bulbs. And one thing, a little design tip, a lot of people get stuck in the onesies and twosies. I'll put one red tulip and one yellow daffodil. Really, to get a big bang for your buck and a lot of impact is to plant large swaths of the same thing, which really gives you a lot more power, a lot more to look at. Doesn't cost you any more money, but the impact is much more dramatic.
That's super. Okay, we're going to take another break, and we've got some more project ideas when we return. Okay, fall is always a great time for projects, whether it's school projects or yard projects. So we've got some great yard projects for you today.
We do. We want to talk about some really small little things you can do now that it's fall. We've all got the bug, you know, we're all ready for the cool weather. So I want to show you just a few things that, that you can do. The first picture, I'm pretty familiar with this area. It's my deck. And so my husband went out there and he blew all the leaves off and it looked all clean and nice and the weather was crisp, and I said, get that chimenea out, get it up on the deck. So I pulled out my little pumpkin chimenea that I had gotten, and also my pots were getting a little bit tired, and I had some vinca and got palms and things in there. So what I did was I pulled out some of the tired stuff, but left the other things that still looked good, and added some pansies and some Gloriosa daisies. I think the whole thing took me about, oh, you know, maybe $15 and 15 minutes. So it really wasn't a big deal, and I did all the pots on my deck, just adding little things here and there, and it really made me feel a whole lot better.
Sprucing them up a little bit.
Sprucing them up. And you know, just getting it ready for a little bit of fall entertaining. So that's, you know, an easy, simple thing you can do. And so let's say you live in a condo or you live in an apartment and you just don't have any property. We've got a wonderful assortment of fall wreaths and some cute little pumpkins. You can decorate a window, you can decorate a door. It doesn't have to be a big outdoor project. Just change that tired whatever it is on your front door or window, just to make yourself feel better and get yourself all situated for the fall and winter months.
I guess what I like is I know I can't go home and devote half a day or a day or something. Right. You're exactly right. Got same thing. Got my little pansies there. I'm ready to just pop them into some of my container gardens.
That's right.
You know, all I need is if I can find 30 minutes, then I can sort of get things up to date.
Right.
So,
you know, cruise through Merrifield, grab a wreath, put it on your door, and you're good to go.
Exactly. And you'll feel a lot better. It's a nice change to make.
Here we've got a picture of our courtyard, and I'll tell you what, if you even just want to change a pot, think about adding, as we talked about before, I'm all about color, a pop of color here or there. We've got an amazing assortment of not just terracotta pots, but we've got glazed pots in all colors, and you can grab a pot, put something in it, and even, you know, if you really feel like you don't have a green thumb, if your thumb is turning black and you just don't feel like doing it or don't have the time, we have wonderful people in our annual and perennial section who are more than happy to take your selections that you choose and pot them up for you. You can take them home with you that way, or we can even deliver them for you. So there's no reason to not spruce up your property with something. In the next picture, we've got another kind of a overview of all the beautiful, colorful things that we have in our annuals department. We've got mums in, we've got the cabbages and kale, we've got pansies. In here too, you see a nice little array of everything that we have, and you can just make a nice little display for yourself. So also, we want to also talk about gourds and pumpkins and things. You know, days are gone of just the orange pumpkin. Right. I mean, if you love them and you're traditional, go for it. But I'll tell you what, we got green ones, we got blue ones, we got knobby ones, we have white ones. And really you can make a wonderful impact at your front door or on your deck by using these different colorful pumpkins and things that we have.
Well, it's amazing what just a few pumpkins spruced here or there, what a difference that makes.
What a difference it makes. In the next picture, I love the display, and I wanted to share a little story about myself. You know, being the ultimate designer that I am, I'm always looking for something to do, and fall is a time for me to think, you know, what can I do on my front porch that's different? Well, you know, when the kids were little, we did the obligatory jack-o'-lantern thing. We had the scary pumpkin for the boy and the scarier pumpkin for the girl. If anyone knows my daughter, we know that she's got to have the scariest pumpkin of them all. But as they grew up and got a little bit less interested in that, I was looking through a decorating magazine. And so I was going to make a Moroccan lantern thing out of a pumpkin. So I went out, I sought out the perfect pumpkin. I had my husband get out the power tools. The drill, the array of drill bits in all different sizes and shapes. I spread out my newspapers, cleaned out the pumpkin, and I spent a couple of hours transferring, you know, with my Sharpie, doing a very intricate design of my Moroccan gourd to be.
Must have been spectacular.
Well, at that point, I was into it for about 5 hours.
Wow.
Pumpkin innards all over the place, power tools everywhere, and when it was finished, it looked like a worm ate it. It was awful.
I was envisioning, like I said, sparkling beams of light popping out through all those holes in the decorative pattern.
No.
That was the game plan, but
there was not one sparkling beam of light. It looked like worms had eaten the thing. It went straight into the trash can.
Oh, no.
Thank you for sharing that, because when I went home today, I was about to do the same thing.
Everybody thinks because you're a designer, you got a magic thumb or a magic wand or something. Not so. So, in the next picture, I just want to kind of reiterate the fact that you want to simplify, make your life easy. Now what I do is I go out and I buy the weirdest, strangest pumpkins I find from Merrifield. I pile them up on my front porch, and on Halloween, the trick-or-treaters come and they go, wow, that one looks like a brain, that one looks like it's got warts. I haven't carved the first thing, and it's wonderful. I love it. So simplify, and we can help you do it.
that's great. That's great. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, if you have questions for David or Renetta, this is the time to give us a call, 703-387-1046. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. There's our phone number, 703-387-1046. If you have any questions, give us a call. And our first caller is Mike, who's calling from Falls Church. Hi, Mike.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, I got two questions for you. The first is that I have a very old Japanese maple, I believe it's a bloodgood, in my front yard. And a few years ago, I took some seedlings and planted them next to my driveway. They're now about 4 or 5 feet tall, and I'd like to undercut the branches so that they'll form a canopy over my cars. I want to know if now is a time that I can do it, or should I wait until spring? The second question is, I love aucubas, and I've made over the years many plantings of them around my backyard. But in one area, I'm having some black death happening, and sometimes it's just part of a bush, but now it's starting to spread to another bush, and I was wondering what that is and what I can do.
Right. So on your aucuba, that's just where the leaves turn black, and it just even into the stem, it just turns black and collapses. Right. I like that name, Black Death.
It sounds Halloween-y, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We got a theme going.
Yes. If it's okay to you, I'm going to use that word from now on. It sounds a whole lot better than Phytophthora.
Yeah.
You know.
It's more descriptive.
That's right, true.
But what you're talking about, and we see that happen on the aucuba, it can affect actually a variety of different plants. But it's a disease. It's called Phytophthora. Sometimes you can get ahead of it by pruning, you know, where if you catch it early and you can prune out the infected portions going several inches back to where it's healthy, you can do it that way. The other is there are treatments for it. There's a product called Agrifos, AGRI-FOS, that can be applied as a foliar spray. But these things, you have to catch it when it's early to be effective. So you gotta, as soon as you see that, get in there, get a little aggressive with your pruning, cutting it out. Consider spraying with Agrifos, because it does get into the vascular tissue, and once it gets into that vascular tissue, it's you know, it just keeps going. With your maple, the best time to prune it's going to be in the winter. You really don't want to prune it right now. This time of year, the short days, the plants are setting their terminal buds. They're sort of shutting down for the year's growth. We don't want to disturb that. So wait till it starts to shed its leaves, and then sometime January, February, March would be a good time to do the pruning.
Great. Thank you very much for the information.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, let's see. Richard is calling from Colesville, Maryland. Hi, Richard.
Good morning, Debbie, David, and Renetta. I have two questions. I've been gardening for a long time, and I've always had good tomato crop. This year, the only tomatoes that I've lived on all summer long are the little ones that sprung up from seed that was in the garden, and they're the little Sweet 100s or something like that. The other tomato plants really never developed. They never grew very much. I think now maybe I'll get 3 or 4 tomatoes out of about 10 plants. What happened there?
Do you think it had something to do with the, you know, maybe not enough water, or what's your thought, David?
Well, I guess the first thing I was wondering, I wanted to see what you had to say. Now, did they get to the point where they were flowering and blooming?
Very little.
Okay.
Very little.
So they just didn't develop.
Because to me, there's a couple things. One, my first thought, which might be off base, is this summer we had really high temperatures, both daytime and nighttime, and a lot of times you don't get good fruit set or pollination when our nighttime temperatures are staying up in the 70s and 80s as they frequently were. But you're right, they never really, it sounds like it just never really
Never
thrived.
developed.
Okay, would something like a blossom set have helped if I put that on?
I know, it can help. I mean, I had some people, but quite honestly, when you have nighttime temperatures are staying in the 80s, you know, it's a losing battle. So you're not alone. I had some people that were in there and using the blossom set and starting to see some improvement. Instead of having no tomatoes, they might have gotten 3 tomatoes, but still very low yields like you're talking about.
Was it a bad year for tomatoes this year? Because sometimes you have great years and sometimes you have not so great years.
Exactly.
Okay, this was a non-great year.
Not a great year.
Right, yeah. But don't get too discouraged. You know, maybe next summer will be a little kinder to us.
There's always another year. I have one quick question. I planted a nice bed of pansies, and I'd like to extend them into the winter as long as I can. Got any suggestions?
Oh yeah, pansies should go all the way through into next spring. I usually can leave them in the ground till almost June. They're very durable and hardy, and don't really require any special protection. Again, I feel like you kind of have to watch the watering. Like last winter was extremely dry, and even in January and February we were asking people to do some watering.
One of the things, though, with pansies, though, that that I've noticed is they do come out of the winter looking a little bit beat up sometimes, and so you shouldn't lose faith. You know, you shouldn't give up on them. Just go ahead and keep watering them when the spring comes. Give them a little bit of fertilizer, and they will come back. They'll pop right back for you. But I tell people, be patient with them, because you're going to want to yank them out. Just give them a little bit of time.
Right, they look like wilted spinach, but they're still alive.
But that's what I love about planting pansies in the fall, is that they do come back.
They'll surprise you.
Richard,
They are an annual, aren't they?
Yes, they'll
It's a winter annual.
winter annual, and they'll last till it gets good and warm, probably about June time frame.
Thank you, folks, very much.
Thanks, Richard. Have a great
Thanks for the
day.
call.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, let's see. Lorraine is calling from Washington, D.C. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm unbelievable.
All right.
Oh, that's,
That sounds good.
That's great.
yeah, I need some of that.
I know.
What's your
Yes,
question?
I'm calling because I know what time is short. I have a problem. I don't know if it's disease or if I have problems with neighbors who don't respect my hard work. I have 4 arborvitaes that have been in the yard, I guess, about 4 to 5 years now, so they're very well established. And at the beginning of spring, I noticed one had turned completely brown as if it had died. And then I looked the other day, and the other 3 have done the same thing. So my question is, will urine cause the plant to die, or is it possibly something else?
That's a good question.
I don't think it's the dogs.
I don't think it's the dogs.
I was looking to see.
No, I don't think it is
I don't
either. I
think
think
it's
it's
dogs.
maybe human.
I hope it's not
Oh,
human.
well.
That's worse than the dog.
Urinating off of their
Again, it could be a moisture issue. Arborvitae will have kind of a strange pattern of drying out in patches if it's not getting watered properly. And being that it was, even though they're established, being that it was such a hot, dry summer, maybe they did suffer a little bit in terms of moisture and had this kind of patchy brown drying out.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking more of a watering issue, because typically, like say, if there's a damage to it from a urine, it's just where it is, where they're peeing on. Well, I've never had a
Right.
problem with neighbors peeing on, but if it's a dog,
You
it's
don't live in
usually
the
just
city.
that spot where they're spraying on. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time for break.
One more question.
Okay.
Now, I love the idea about planting the bulbs now and grouping them together. I have a spot that's 3 feet by 9 feet. How many bulbs should I plant to get the dramatic effect that you showed on one of your pictures? And also, do you water bulbs? I know you emphasize watering plants, new plants, but what about bulbs?
Good question.
That is a good question. I can't do math in my head, but 3 by 9 is a pretty significant space. I would
Plant a lot.
plant a lot. Plant as many as you can fit in there. You know, a good way to do it is, if possible, if you can kind of dig out the whole area instead of making a million little holes, then you can just dump a bag of bulbs in there and get down and kind of situate them the way you want, and then cover them all over at one time. It'll save you a lot of time.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Thank you so much. We've got to go to a break, so we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're going to get right back to our callers. Let's see, Carolyn is calling from Germantown, Maryland. You there, Carolyn?
Yes, I am.
Thanks
Good
for
morning.
holding. Good morning.
I am calling because I did some summer gardening for my patio. Unfortunately, I'm in an apartment, and I have very limited space, probably about maybe a 6 by 6 space. And I want to know what you recommend in terms of bulbs and planting some flowers for the fall. Can you make any recommendations?
How much sun does the area get?
Pretty good sun. I'd probably say a lot of direct sun I get.
Okay. Well, one thing you can do in your containers is you can plant the bulbs, and pretty much any sun bulb will do. Tulips, daffodils, almost anything. Plant them in your pot, and then you can plant pansies on top of it. And you'll have the pansies over the winter, and then in the spring the bulbs will come up through there. And don't forget to look in the perennial department too, because there's lots of wonderful evergreen grass things. There's coral bells, different things that you can mix with the pansies are going to give you really good color throughout the fall and winter, early spring, and then those bulbs are just going to pop right up through there and give you even more impact when they come up.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. Dennis is calling from Capitol Heights. Hi, Dennis.
Hello there. Good morning to you.
Good
Enjoy
morning.
your show.
Oh,
thank you. Good morning.
Yes.
What can we do for you?
Here's my situation.
Let's hear it.
I got two most beautiful hibiscus, one red, have anywhere from a 6-inch bulb that comes out on a daily basis. It is tremendous. But here's the situation.
Uh-oh.
What can I leave them there throughout this winter, or what can I do to make sure my plants come back next year?
Can you bring them in? Do you have a sunny window? Do you have a sunny sliding glass door where you could bring the pots in and keep them inside over the winter?
Well, not really, because these are in the ground.
Oh. David, what do you think? Can he dig
do
them
you
up
have a
and
good friend who has a nice sunny sliding glass window? You're going to have
to dig them up
You're going to
and-
have to
yeah.
bring them inside. They are not going to survive through the winter time.
But you could dig
Okay.
them up and put them in a container and bring them in, and then take them back out in the spring and replant them. They should be fine.
Okay.
A little more work, but you can do it.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks,
right.
Dennis.
Good
Great
luck with it.
weekend. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Carla is calling from Solomons, Maryland. Hi, Carla. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Just have a couple minutes left. What can we do for you?
Okay, first of all, I wanted to know, can you plant seagrass in the winter or fall?
What can I get in here?
The seagrass, I'm talking about the sea oats that get the nice pretty
The
little...
big, tall seagrass that has the blooms on the top.
Oh, the pampas grass.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you cut that back in the wintertime?
You can cut it back either when it goes dormant in the winter, but a lot of people like the winter interest because those plumes will hold on there for a while, and also the grass is real pretty with ice and snow on it, so often people will leave it till the spring and then trim it back in the spring before the new growth comes out to give it a fresh start. Either way, whatever you'd like to do.
Also, the rock garden that you made earlier on the show, where you had the pot tilted over
Yes.
and you had the rocks inside, Where does the water come from the other end out?
There's a pump was in that little pond thing, and then a tubing that goes through the back of the hole in the pot and recirculates.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Give us a call. We can set one up for you pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. My apologies to Pat from Forestville. We just don't have time to get you on the air. If you stay on the line, we'll get somebody give you a call back. But thank you, Renetta, for some great ideas.
Oh, it's always fun to be here.
Easy
Thanks.
things to do, quick things to do, and make such a big impact.
I had a good time. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of questions about bulbs, so don't miss the seminar today on that.
That's right. That's right. And next week we will be talking. Peggy will be here next week, and she's going to be talking about combining bulbs with annuals and perennials. So again, yes, be sure to stop by the seminars at all 3 locations today. Next weekend starts our Fall Garden Festival at Gainesville, and come by and see us at Merrifield Garden Center. We love to see you, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful time of year.
Got all those warty pumpkins waiting.
That's right. So nice and easy instead of your project, right?
That's right.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.